and be a part of that. I'm setting up the record here so that I make sure that we have a message that we can present for later. There we go. So today's talk, as we are working through this month through the theme of listen to your heart, and today's topic is titled the path made clear. I have a quote here from Oprah Winfrey that says that your life is always speaking to you. It speaks in whispers, guiding you to your next step. Your life is always speaking to you. And Ernest Holmes says that it seems as though everything in life is meant to circulate. Stagnant water was once flowing water that became sidetracked from its own flow. So we can often find ourselves sidetracked in the flow of our life. And that if we are willing to do the work that must be consistent, and we must be diligent with, and we must work at it continuously throughout our life, no matter where we are on the journey of our life. Otherwise, we will become stagnant. For we are here for a divine purpose, and I believe that divine purpose is for us to fully express the meaning of life as Spirit would have us be here in this life. And we know that the nature of Spirit is to be creative. And our evidence of that is through all of that which shows up in the physical universe and all that we know, that everything in this thing that we call life is forever creating and recreating itself and bringing itself into an experience, bringing itself into an expression. And oftentimes, as the quote says, we can find ourselves stagnant and we don't know what direction we should be going. We're not sure where it is that we need to be in this life experience right now. And so the topic of today is this idea of the path made clear. For when the vision is clear, the decision is easy. And Ernest Holmes tells us, he says, as you listen to the divine wisdom within you, you will receive your inspiration and guidance. As you speak your word and think your thoughts or make affirmations with complete conviction, you will discover that you are using a power that actually is and that actually does respond to you. For the Spirit within you is God, the infinite source of your intelligence and wisdom and creative power. For when the vision is clear, the decision is easy. We find ourselves moving through this life experience, particularly today in this COVID-19, and we're not sure that we're on the right path or that we are in the right place or at the right time. And one of the affirmations that I have used as the affirmation when we're closing our service is the affirmation that says that there is only one life, and that this life is God's life, and that this life is perfect, and that this life is my life now. And when I contemplate and reflect upon that affirmation, I find that there is a larger meaning to it. There's a greater depth to it than just reiterating the affirmation in a time and time again to where it becomes something that maybe as I know it by heart and I can just roll it off, I'm not picking up what the meaning of it is. So I wanted to spend a little bit of time this morning to go deeper into that idea that there's only one life. And I've been looking at this experience of what we're doing and how we're dealing with this idea of the virus. For me, one of the things that I draw out of this is that we truly are more interconnected than we've ever imagined. And every day we're becoming more interconnected one to one. For this opportunity, and I see it as an opportunity, has brought us into the awareness that regardless of the borders that we have, regardless of how we identify geographically, or regardless of where we place ourselves or how we are behaving, we have found out that worldwide that we are almost instantly connected one to another. That whatever I'm thinking, whatever I'm speaking, whatever I'm doing has a direct correlation to the way in which we are showing up in today's world. It has a direct correlation to the way in which things begin to unfold. Or I'm not of a mind to believe that there is an evil power out there, or that there is some entity that's doing this to us. I'm of the belief that says that because we are all here, because we are all part of this one life, then everything that we are thinking and speaking and doing is part of that creative nature that's bringing about the experience of what we are having in our life, and how we are showing up in this world in this physical way. And I am the eternal optimist, so I'm forever looking at any situation that might appear to be negative, or any situation that might appear to be a challenge, and I'm asking myself, as the quote said, deeper within, listening to the guidance, listening to that inner voice, and it responds to me when I'm asking these questions about why is this going on? What is the greater good that's going to be brought forth here? For what I know is that whatever I put my attention to, that I will attract more of that to me. So if I'm forever looking at the negative, and I have found in many experiences in my life that I can easily get caught into focusing on the negative. I can easily find myself in that puddle of stagnant water because the flow is not happening. And when I examine that, when I spend some time in reflection and I listen deeply to what's happening, I will have the answer rise up within me that shows me a clearer path, shows me the direction in which I need to move. And often I'm finding that I'm either blocking the flow on one side because I'm not willing to receive, or I'm blocking the flow from the other side because I'm not willing to give. So there is a circular pattern that happens here, and it shows up throughout the universe. Everything has a coming and a going to it. And we know that just in the very way in which our physical body works, the way in which our heart is pumping, that there's a receiving and a giving. There's a flow that needs to happen in order for our life to be an expression. And if we stop one side or clog one side or block one side, then we find ourselves in a dire need or in a desperate situation. So when we get to that place where we find ourselves stagnant, when we find ourselves challenged, when we find ourselves with a block or a barrier in our life, then we can ask ourselves, and where is it that I am creating that barrier? Where is it that I'm not letting the light in? Where is it that I have not opened up to either receive or in a place of when it's available for me to give? And if I can do that, if I can get to that place of being in the flow of giving and receiving, then I know that I will have a greater experience in my life. We took an opportunity yesterday because, as I know, all of us are in this stay-at-home isolation experience, and that only if it's necessary that we're going out to be out in the public. We can have we can have some cabin fever, we can get a little frustrated, and we can find ourselves feeling confined. So I took the opportunity yesterday to drive over to the center uh, just so that I would have an excuse to get out of the house and go someplace and do something. And one of the things that I had been hearing is that a number of our members had been going to the center, not because the building is opened, it is not open, but the parking lot was there, and it was filled with weeds. So people were going over, and they were picking the weeds. They were cleaning up in the yard. They were doing little cleanups and trimmings and other things outside on the campus area there, in order to keep it looking as if we do honor and treasure our center and the building and the property that we have available to us. Even though we're not there using it, it is still there to serve us. It's in waiting for us to return in that time when we can do so safely and we can do so in the right way. It will be there. And I am so grateful, and I can report after my visit there that truly those who have been showing up to do that work on the outside have done a very good job in doing that. And it looks as good as I know that it possibly can at this time. And so I just want to say thank you to all those who are helping take care of the center at this time. It's in that metaphor of showing up and doing what we can, even though it may seem like a little thing. I mean, it's like if someone's over there, for 20 or 30 minutes, that's a big, huge piece of property. They can only get a little bit of it done, but every little bit has been accumulating and bringing forth that greater appearance that shows up. As if you're able to drive by and look at it, you will see that it really does make a difference. So sometimes we think that I'm not enough. I don't have enough power, or I don't have enough authority, or I don't have enough time or enough money in order to help the world get to a greater place. But it's important that whatever we do, however tiny or small it may appear to be, that it is completing the bigger picture. So even the little part like the song that Karen Drucker was presenting that I used in the beginning, uh, just to light a candle, just to spend a moment or two in honoring all those who have served um, for the greater well-being of all of us around the world, and that we honor everyone and not just the ones that we know. For there are many people out there that we don't know who they are. We don't know where they were in the world, but there was somebody that was doing something, and out of their action, there has been brought forth into this world, into this universe, a greater good. For the good will always come forth, the good will always manifest. And even though there are appearances and there are struggles and there are challenges and there are barriers to things that are going on in life, I know that it is working for the greater good. We just have to allow ourselves to reveal that greater truth and not get caught up on the negative or the challenging part of life. And the Science of Mind magazine, the daily guide, the reading for today, uh, the title of it was titled Scrub the Base and Fill the Water. And it sounds very much like that adage that's used in the Karate Kid, wax on, wax off. Uh, it's little by little that we do, that every little bit of effort is fine tuning, it's honing our skills, it's building our confidence, it's creating that vibration and that energy of good that's going to bring about that and the manifestation of who we are. One of the Buddhist sayings very similar to that is uh, before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water, and then after enlightenment, chop wood and carry water. We have to keep doing it. We don't just step into a place of enlightenment and then like, oh, okay, life is good. Everything's going to be fine now. Life is an expression that is meant to be creative, and it's always going to have some challenge to it. For without the challenge, we would never have the desire or the need or the want to try to get to a more divine place, a more place of love and harmony, which is truly the journey that we are all on. We are all returning back to that place of perfection in the affirmation that there is only one life. This life is God's life. This life is perfect. And so here we are in this time and in this place of the now. And the metaphor of chopping wood and carrying water is a strong one. And like a fountain or a puddle or a body of water, it needs to have a lot of work and dedication to continually clear out the debris. And so our mind is the same way, that we need to pay attention to the thoughts that are forever running through our mind. It's like the little weeds that were growing up in the driveway and in the parking lot at the center, that if they weren't paid attention to, if we didn't every now and then go back and pull some of those weeds and clean some of that off and brush that away, that pretty soon we wouldn't even be able to see the parking lot. It would be so covered with weeds. So with our mind, we need to make sure that we're not getting so filled up with negative thoughts, so filled up with oh, how dire it is or how difficult it may be, that we need to turn our focus whenever and wherever we can to that which is more affirmative and more positive, and focus on that. For as we do, then we will continue to attract into our life experience that greater sense of joy and harmony and peace. So I want to leave you with the affirmation for today. I trust and allow the divine wisdom within me to guide my decisions and to light my path. I follow its lead. I trust and allow the divine wisdom within me to guide my decisions and to light my path. I follow its lead. And so, with the affirmation and the song that Karen Drucker gave us this morning, I light a candle. I light a candle for our center. I light a candle for all of our beloved members and participants. I light a candle for each and every one of you and for your loved ones, because I know that we will move through this time and this experience, and we will become better because of it. For we will have learned how to live in the world so that we can take care of Mother Earth. We will learn how to live in the world so that we can be at peace and harmony with each other. We will learn how to be the greater yet to be that is within each and every one of us. As we continue on this journey of life, we can continue to express the beauty and the love and the joy that we are. So blessings to each of you on this Memorial Day. Namaste. And so, Victoria.
Oh, you unmuted me.